Hey, welcome, Camille and the studio bird. Brindle here with a little tutorial on how to make one of my new pop-ups. This pop-up is in my shop. It's a pop-up that is built around an accordion, and it uses a lot of cutting, a lot of great cutting, a lot of fun cutting. If you like to do paper cutting, this might be a fun one for you to try. It's called Four Horses. And like I said, pretty cutting dominant. So you're going to need a nice sharp X-Acto or a scalpel, a couple of bone folders or a Teflon folder, some glue, and for this I like to use PVA, but you're welcome to use a glue stick. And then 2 pieces of board, and we're going to use that board for the cover. And here you can see that board here. You can use the back of a sketchbook or just board that you have for bookbinding. Either will work great. So let's get to it. This is from a pattern in my shop. It comes completely ready to go with the covers and the end sheets and everything that you'll need. We're going to start out by just kind of looking at how you're going to do this. So I've actually outlined all the places where you're going to cut and marked all the places that you're going to score. And I have been doing a little research on scoring and have discovered that you have less paper breakage. There's Brindle. She's telling you what she thinks about this. I know, it is exciting, isn't it? And the idea about scoring is that you want to try to press the fibers of the paper so that you can prepare them for the fold. And I have found that just by using a couple of sheets of paper underneath, this is just a cheap index paper, that it kind of gives a cushion for those score lines. And what you want to do with the pattern is you want to just take a ruler and then just score those lines. And when you use that nice cushion of index paper, it just seems to make a better fold with less breaking. So after you do that, and I've just got a little piece here that I've already done that too, that will give you all nice areas where you're going to be doing your folding. And there will be some folding once you get to that part of the project where you're going to do the pop-up. Let's go ahead and combine the 2 pieces together so that we end up with our long accordion. And I'm just using a little bit of PVA, and you can see that we have a little mark there that tells you that this is the connector flap. And then we're just going to lay the other piece on top. And you want to make sure that you line that piece edge up so that you don't get any tipping. And then we're just going to press that down. And I'd let that dry a little bit before I actually began the folding in the next step, just because you don't want it popping up. So I'm going to start out with this piece. And the next step is to go ahead and fold it. And we're just going to do a simple accordion fold, which means you're going to fold it in half. And you've already have those great score lines, which make that easier. And then you're going to fold in the sides. And there's already a score mark there, and you're just going to fold in the sides and press those folds. And do the same thing with the opposite side. So now this is the text block. We'll fold over these 2 flaps. This is the text block. So that just means the text block is, this is the piece that goes into the cover. This is the guts, so to speak, of the book. And so once you have the text block, you're able to glue that in. But before you do that, I'd like for you to cut it. And this is the part that is probably going to take most of the time. My testers have said about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to work on this project, and most of that is because of all of this detailed cutting. You'll see that there is a line around each part of the horse that you're going to cut. And you are not going to cut the areas between those 2 scored lines, because that is where you're going to create your pop-up. And if you look here after I've cut it, you're just going to pinch those together, and you'll see how this works. See, I'm just pinching those two score lines, and when you pinch those two score lines, you can see how that horse begins to pop up, and there you get your definition. Now, when you begin to score or pinch these and fold these lines, you'll have to readjust your accordion folds to get those to go back and forth again. So you can see how that works. So you're not supposed to cut this. So let's talk a little bit about cutting. And cutting is kind of like drawing or any other muscle memory type of activity. The more you do it, the more your brain knows how to do it and your body knows how to do it, and it kind of comes together. So don't be really critical of yourself when you begin to fold. You want to start with a sharp knife, number one, most important thing. And then I like to kind of keep my arms close to my body to give me the most control. And it's okay if you raise your knife and lift it up to cut different things. So here we're going to start again. I'm raising my knife, and we're just going to set it on there and just go slow. Put on some good music, carefully and slowly. I like to kind of think of you're tracing these lines, and look at how I'm moving my piece of paper and just kind of following that line. I'm lifting up my knife, and then I'm starting here. I always pull the knife towards me. It just gives me more control. There are amazing things going out there with paper cutting right now. If you're interested in paper cutting, just Google it. It's incredible what people are able to do cutting paper. So you'll want to cut out all of your horses and then go back to the original text block. So to do that, we're just going to fold this up again. And and there you have it, the original text block. So in your pattern, you have a piece that has the end sheets as well as the covers, and you're just going to put those onto your board. And if you're unfamiliar with how to do that, you can just check out my other tutorials. Lots of tutorials cover how to cover boards. And we're going to actually case in, which means we're going to put the text block into the book covers. And to do that, you would think that you would want to glue the whole thing. But that would not work, now would it? So what you want to do is just put a little glue on that outside flap, and we're going to center this into the cover. And then let's press, use your holder, and do the same thing to the top. Now the last piece to finish the book is to add end sheets. And I love end sheets because they allow you to have a different texture, a different color, another element to the book project. And so these are end sheets that are actual scans of some of my Eastern paper that I made quite a while ago. So they have some nice texture and color, and we are going to put those end sheets in the inside cover of the book, and that just helps to create a nice finished look. And the secret to a good end sheet application is actually the gluing. We want to make sure that we have the glue all the way up to the edges of the paper. So I like to start at the center and brush out to the outside edges. Get it all the way out to the edge. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue this, and you saw that I dry fit it. I looked at it and showed it to you. That is another important step. You want to dry fit it to see how it fits in the book before you actually put it in. And I like to start with laying it down and lining it up right there at the spine, and then just roll it over onto the book. And once again, we've got our wonderful Teflon folder to help us glue that down. So let's do the front. Same thing, dry fit it. Oh, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, if you need to trim anything, oh, this looks like it's got a little bit extra on this end. I forgot to cut off the white paper. I didn't quite cut it, so I'm going to trim it. You know, get it to fit right before you add the glue and make it difficult. Oh, that looks perfect. Okay, we'll go back to our sheet, and I used glue all over the surface. That's another thing. Make sure that you start with a fresh, clean scrap, and we'll just do the same thing. There we have it. The artist book. Oops, let's open it right. And there you can see how that works. And I just glued it in backwards, I realized. Yay. So you'll have to flip that. We'll just call this, you'll have to flip that. This would actually go in here, so that it goes like this. Ouch. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We're running on short time here today. I'm so glad that you were able to join me on this sunny spring day. You can check out this pattern as well as many other pop-ups and artist book on my channel at Etsy. Hope you have a chance to do something creative today. Thanks for watching.